and join together in the reading at the bottom of the page that starts, "May the door." May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, or harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. So let us turn now to page 128, 128, and join together at the top of the page with Hine Matov, how good and pleasant it is that all of us can dwell together. Is it not, you're not hearing it? Now, is that any better? We had an event the other night, and so we turned off the sound in here and turned it on in the other room. So now we're going to reverse the process. And thank you, Amy. Yes, she's awesome. Yeah, it's a neat sound in here, but it's better with the amplification. Amy, you ready for me? Can you hear that better? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Liam. So let us join together in song with how good and pleasant it is for all of us to dwell together. Page 128 at the top. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Well, it wouldn't be Shabbat without getting some announcements about what's coming after Shabbat. So, if I could invite up one of our vice presidents, Karen Retner, to give us the announcements, that would be wonderful.
Thank you, Rabbi. Hi, Shabbat Shalom. My name is Karen Retner. On behalf of the Bethel Board of Trustees, I welcome you all here tonight. New faces, very much so. We're glad you're here joining us. If you're new to the congregation or attending as a visitor, please introduce yourself to Rabbi Dime or myself. After the service, we would love to personally welcome you and say hi and chat a bit. Our annual fundraiser is coming up on March 1st. 2 weeks from Saturday night, and it's going to be awesome. It's a throwback to New York City, great theme and everything to go with it. So please try and join us. There's information on the website, in our email blasts, and there's a big poster out front if you want any information about that. So I hope to see you there, and thanks for coming tonight. Shabbat Shalom.
So definitely check out that poster in the foyer. And next to it, on another easel, is a poster about a social action sort of event pledge that we have going on called Spread the Cream Cheese, Not Hate. Spread Cream Cheese, Not Hate. I'll be talking about it later on, but in your minds, just plant the seed to check out that poster in the foyer on your way out. So now let us turn back to page 120, 120, and I'd like to invite up Ron and June Van to help us with the lighting of the candles and the saying of the Kiddush. I'm going to get this starter candle lit here to help with the process. If I can. There we go. Yeah, page 120 for the candles, and then we'll flip to 123 for the Kiddush once we're ready. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shel Shabbat. And now we turn to page 123, 123 for the Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן. לחיים. And now let us turn to page 142, 142, and join together in Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei hamlachim, akadosh baruch hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, Malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. So, Shalom Aleichem is all about inviting the angels to be with us this Shabbat in different capacities. The angels are invited to come to us, to stay with us, to leave from us, but we haven't gotten there yet. So let's ask the angels to dwell with us for a little bit longer before we ask them to leave. And another part of the beginning of Shabbat, after invoking the angels, is the Baruch Hu on page 146, where we have our call to worship. It's a call and response. And so for this call to worship, I invite you to rise in body or spirit. I'll do the call and invite all of you to do the response. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. You may be seated. And now we turn to page 148, 148, for Ma'ariv Aravim. Please join with me in the English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. And now we turn to page 150, 150. Please join with me in the English. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. And now we turn to page 152. I invite you to rise in body or spirit for the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. V'shamru, page 154, 154. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha, ve'hayu hadbarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha b'derech, uvshochbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beineinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru, vasitem et kol mitzvotai, vitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. So we come together not only for Shabbat here, which is awesome, but also in all this liturgy together. We read together, we sing together. And one of the great things about Reform Judaism is that the liturgy evolves and changes as we go. This book wasn't published that long ago, but already the liturgy is evolving. So when we turn to page 159, I invite all of us to do something a little different than what's printed on the page, and to say, sing the song of people joined in understanding and respect. So, page 159, together. Sing the song of people joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. And we look back for that song of peace, for that song of redemption on page 158, 158. Please join with me in Micha Mocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Malechutecha ra'u v'anecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze Eli anu ve'amru, Ze Eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, Ugalo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch ata Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. And now we look to page 160, 160, for the Hashkivenu. And let's join together in the English before we get to the song we normally sing, Bless You. And before we get to the English, that's a standing other line I like to include during allergy season and cold and flu season, which happens to be a lot of overlap right now, is a standing bless you over anyone who sneezes or coughs or anything that sounds like a sneeze. Even if I can't interrupt the liturgy as I'm singing and reading up here, bless you over anyone who sneezes during the course of these services, for all of our health and continued health and back to health and well-being. So together in the English on page 160, grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. And now we join together in song for the top couple lines of this Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. And now, having invoked God's help in building a Sukkot Shlomecha, a shelter of peace, which helps us get to that breathing space, that space of peace and pause in Shabbat, I'd like to invite up two of our members who are helping us lead Shabbat services because they're in training for their bar mitzvahs, their b'nai mitzvah. I'd like to invite up Ronan and Isaac Curley to lead us in Vishamru, page 162. You'll notice this is a higher energy piece of music, so please join together and keep that energy high. Page 162.
Shamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat lasso et Shabbat ledover tamari tolam b'nei Yuvim b'nei Yisrael oti leolam b'shamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat lasso et Shabbat ledover tamari tolam ki sheshaim asa Adonai et hasamayim ve'haaretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat lasso et Shabbat ledover tamari tolam u'yem hashmim avat yinifash Shabbat yinifash Shabbat yinifash v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et Shabbat lasso et Shabbat ledover tamari tolam.
It is always a pleasure to welcome up our B'nai Mitzvah students to help lead. Great job, guys. Great job. It's a fun event. You know, we get people coming up to continue standing into adult Judaism, into Jewish adulthood. So looking forward to it. And whenever you're here on a Friday night or a Saturday morning, there's people up here. It's just a great experience. It brings some more life and energy to the Bima. So good job, guys. And now we turn to page 164, 164, for the Tefillah portion of our service, the Amidah. I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Abraham, V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atarav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach umorid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha ba'al gevurot umito melach melech memit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye hakol, Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Ukdoshim b'cho yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch ata Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated. Please join with me on page 175, 175, at the top of the page. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, She'odcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. And now on page 177, 177. Please join with me at the bottom of the page. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ucha na'eh lehodot. And now, though we are aware of all the amazing things in the world, all the wonders and the blessings that we have in our lives, we are still aware that we are praying for peace. So we turn to page 178, 178. Please join with me in Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon L'cho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon L'cho hashalom. Shalom rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol et u'v'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. It is good to be able to pray for peace together. And that is a melody for that prayer for peace that I've been singing since I joined youth group dozens and dozens, almost hundreds of years ago. It's been a long time since I joined youth group, but I learned that song a long time ago, and it's great to be able to sing it with all of you. And just one of these things to be grateful for and to be glad about. On Shabbat, we actually had a meeting earlier today of people that are looking to start our youth group again, to start it up again, and there were some interested teens and an advisor, and it was just wonderful to have that seemingly jump-starting in a good direction. So good stuff to be thankful for and grateful for on a Shabbat. We are also aware that there are those in our community that can't be with us tonight because they are ill. They are in need of healing, whether it is healing of mind or of body or of spirit. Some of them are with us and in need of healing of mind or of body or of spirit. And so we join together in saying the names of those in our community. I'll say the names, and we join together momentarily in praying for healing. Jim to Armin, Carol Friedman, Carol Wallace, Carol Solomon, June Van, Rabbi Michael Matchison, Sherry Chait, Larry Michelove, Antoinette Worrell, Linda Chambliss, Judge Frank Caprio, Fran Marcus, Howard Silvers, Paige Hedrick, Vanessa Warner, Jaime Klinger, Jane Stewart, Kathy Weiner, Rob Moreland, Ben Beltran, David Adler, Jeff Mayer, Linda Margolis, Sadie Charlotte Schwartz, Dean Fiandaca, Sophie Kruski, Arthur Iglico, Rose Iglico, Carolyn Boyles, David Charles, Karen Toker, Rabbi Ben Yehuda, Ken Friedman, Bob Thrasher, Don D'Amelia, Bryce Rutin, all Israelis still being held hostage, all Israeli soldiers injured in war, and all civilians injured in any war. And now, I'd like to invite anyone here that's holding a name of somebody in your heart who's in need of healing to share the names of the community when my eyes meet yours. We hold all of their names together as a community. And we turn to page 371, 371. I invite you to rise in body or spirit for our prayer for healing, the Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu Mekor HaBracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. May those who will not be healed on this earth be blessed with nights free from suffering and days filled with peace. May God grant strength and comfort to those who care for the sick. May God help us to find hope and courage as we face fear and loss. May all who are ill be surrounded by the love of friends, loving companions, family, and community. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. And now that we have prayed for peace and prayed for healing, I invite you to take a few moments for the prayers of your own heart for silent meditation. Ose shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru Amen. Well, Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. All right, I know it's been a long week. That was actually really good energy for the end of a long week. So great job, everybody. Great job. We're still awake. We're still here. It's fantastic. So last weekend, thinking back that long, I, like many of you probably, watched the Super Bowl. And I don't know whether you watched it for the sports or watched it for the commercials, but either way, you may remember there was a commercial that caught my attention, and it's been talked about quite a bit, actually, over the last week. It's the one where you had Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady sort of parodying all this hate, and then at the end of the commercial, they pop up this blue square, which is the same blue square that they showed a commercial for last year. Same idea. Sort of a royal blue color with a little hashtag on it, like a pound sign for those of us of a certain generation. And it said, "Stand up to all hate." That's the line, the tagline for this blue square, this year's blue square. Same people that sponsored it, I believe, and a little bit of a change of the message. Stand up to all hate. It's a bold message. Don't we all want to stand up to all hate? Sadly, not all of us. But those of us that do, what can we do? How can we stand up to something so daunting? It's loud, it's persistent, and some days it's seemingly everywhere. From social media to our streets, from whispered prejudices to violent attacks, it can feel insurmountable, like an impossible battle. So where do we start? What can we do? One way is to sign the pledge that I mentioned earlier tonight, the Spread Cream Cheese Not Hate pledge. And again, there's a huge poster in the lobby, in the foyer, and it's got a QR code that'll take you to the link to sign. If anybody has any questions, I'm actually able to do it, which means, I can help you. And there are other people that are younger than me that can help you to navigate the QR code and sign the pledge. But I bring it up because Spread Cream Cheese Not Hate is all about exactly that. It's finding a way that's doable for people to take a pledge, to take a stance, to fight hate. And one of the things about this, under other circumstances, if you sign it and you go to the sort of bagel collection site, is you get a free bagel with cream cheese, which we're not doing tonight, but that's, in theory, what happens when you sign the pledge, which is hence the name, Spread Cream Cheese. It's a great way to realize that there are more and more people than we know that are willing to stand with us, to stand up against anti-Semitism and all forms of hate. I spoke last week at Christ Church during their services at one of these Spread Cream Cheese events. In between the services, there was this, bagel collection, bagel distribution time. And there, during services, they asked me to speak. And it was really neat to see how, on some levels, at some points, our calendars actually align. Because they have what's called a lectionary that dictates when they have different readings that come up on their calendar. And on their lectionary from this last Sunday is the same passage of Isaiah that's tied to our Torah portion this Shabbat. And it's a good one. In this passage, God asks, who will be my messenger? Who will go forth and deliver my message? And Isaiah says, Hineni, here I am. Those three syllables in Hebrew are the strongest way of saying, I am here and I will show up. Hineni. And so saying that means Isaiah is ready to serve God when God asks to be God's messenger. I believe that we can all be God's messengers in big ways and in small ways. We can be God's messengers by leading good lives, by leading by example, and by listening for the call and answering with hineni. Whereas Isaiah was in their portion last Sunday, had ties to the New Testament, they're actually really good also ties into our portion from the Torah this Shabbat. In this Torah portion, it's Yitro, and it's named after Moses' father-in-law, and we have the giving of the Ten Commandments in this Torah portion. These Ten Commandments aren't just rules. They're a foundation for how to lead an ethical life in society. And they're given to us with a choice. We're not forced to follow them. We have free will. We choose to do good. Exodus tells us, "Honor your father and mother that you may long endure in the land that your God Adonai is assigning to you." The Torah teaches us that when we build a just and moral society, we create something lasting, something that endures. And that doesn't happen through one grand gesture. It happens through everyday actions, through small but meaningful day-by-day choices. This is a lesson deeply embedded in our Jewish tradition. Standing up to hate doesn't mean always fighting it head on. More often, it means choosing to live with integrity, doing mitzvot, and lighting the way in a dark world. The Torah doesn't tell us we have to fix everything. It doesn't tell us to make the entire world's hatred, to take it all on at the same time. It tells us to choose good, to act justly, and to live by the mitzvot, live by our commandments. And when we do, we create ripples of change that go far beyond what we can see. This is an idea that underlies the Declaration of Independence, the Declaration of Independence for our country, which states that governments derive their power from the consent of the governed. We consent to be part of a society that values justice, equality, and morality. The Ten Commandments call us to do the same, to willingly commit ourselves to a life of righteousness, because that is how we create a world that endures. So what do? We start by doing what we can, by choosing mitzvot, by standing up, not just against hate, but for goodness. We can say, hineni, here I am. Every act of kindness, every moment of integrity, every time that we honor the commandments are things that we can do that light the way forward. And when enough of us do it, that light becomes impossible to ignore. So this Shabbat, may we find the strength to choose what is right, to be a force for good in the world, and to stand up and say, hineni, here I am. Shabbat shalom, everyone. And so, let us now turn and stand in body or spirit with our cousins in Israel on page 678, 678, with Hatikva, Israel's national anthem. Kol od balevav pnima Nefesh Yehudi homiya Ulfate Mizrach Kadima Ayin Letzion Tzofia O lo avda tikvatenu, hatikva bat shnot alpayim, liotam chofshi be'artzenu, Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim, liotam chofshi be'artzenu, Eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. And now we turn back to page 586, 586 for the Aleinu. I invite you to remain standing in body or spirit, and we're looking at the paragraph of the Aleinu that begins at the bottom of the page on 586. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula leotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kimishpachot ha'adama, Shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'goralenu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu notei shamayim v'yosed haaretz, Umoshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, ushchinatu zo, begove meromim, hu Eloheinu enod, emet malkeinu efes zulato, kakatu b'torato, V'yadat hayom v'hashevota elevavecha, ki Adonai hua Elohim, b'shamayim mima'al, ve'al haaretz mitachat en od. Page 591. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. You may be seated. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and the elderly who are waiting to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your sibling walking in the streets beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you with something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people that I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. The congregation is thinking of those whom we have had to give away, those whom we have lost. The congregation is thinking of those whom we have lost within the last year. Rodney Elk, Alan Hyman, Mary Louise Boyer, Buzzy Klausner, Gregory Wayne Berger, David Dunn, Barry Schoenfeld, Milton Margulis, David Shaknovsky, David Friedman, David Cohen, Mike Hyman, Alice Macaulay Schumer, Carol Mandel, Helen Gerber, Jerry Chait, and Shirley Mendelson. And we're thinking of those whom we have lost at this time in years past: Henrietta Bogarad, Helen Frudenthal, Donna Griffith, Linda Sue Hirsch, Patrick Roberson, Lawrence Saxon, Sidney Schnipper, Ralph Stern, Clara Berman, Arnold Bergson, Jeanne Bergson, Rose Cohen, Helene Deitch Kempfer, Alexander Hirsch, Claire Hirsch, Jane Hirsch, Leonard Hirsch, Robert Hirsch, William B. Hirsch, Henry Hubschman, Sylvia Hubschman, Florence Kempfer, Hugo Kempfer, Don Overton, Herbert Papak, Irving Rosenrich, Bert Snyder. If there's anyone here that has a name that you would like to share with the community of someone that you have lost, that you are holding in your heart, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. We hold all of their names together as a community. I invite you to turn to page 598, 598, and to rise in body or spirit for the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei rabbah, bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'gala ubizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal shmei d'kudesha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace in the heavens bring comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, amen. You may be seated. Let's turn to page 625, 625 for Adon Olam. There's so many melodies for Adon Olam, but tonight I'm feeling the one that's sort of the call and response melody. So sing out. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra Le'ek Nasa, B'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Ve'acharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Imloch Nora Adon Olam, V'hu Haya, V'hu Hoveh, V'hu Yeh B'tifara Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra Le'ek Nasa, B'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Echad, V'yein Sheni, Lahamshilo Lahachbira Adon Olam, B'li Reshit, B'li Tachlit, V'lo Ha'oz V'hamisra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra Le'ek Nasa, B'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Eli, V'chai Goali, B'tzur Chavli Be'et Tzara Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi, Umanos Li, Menat Kosi B'yom Ekra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra Le'ek Nasa, B'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, בידו אפקיד רוחי, בעת תישן ואירא אדון עולם, ואם רוחי גוויעתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא אדון עולם, אדון עולם. אשר מלך בטרם כל, יציר נברא לעת נשא, וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא אדון עולם. And now, channeling this energy, this good energy, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and turn to page 603, 603, for the priestly benediction, where it is my honor to say over all of you the blessing that comes from the Torah that the priests used to say over the Israelites in ancient Jerusalem. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, shalom, shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. Shabbat shalom, everyone.